Ed Orgeron. Coach O, welcome to the Chuck and Bo Show. Good morning.
Chuck, Bo, good morning, man. I'm sitting on a bench right here at Muscle Beach out here at South Beach, just enjoying the day.
What we wondered, right? We were just talking. What does a day in the life of Coach O look like right now?
My wife said, I can't believe it. I'm still on an itinerary. I make my own itinerary. I get up at 5, have my little readings, I do my stuff, maybe get a little workout, a little pump, and then, I'll go work out. I run 4.2 miles all the way to South Point every day, walk on the beach. Then the evening, me and my wife go to dinner. It's just a regular day. And now I'm going to Miami's practice. I attend a lot of practices at the University of Miami. I have 2 boys that are coaching there, one on offense, one on defense. And then I go to Tulane. I got my oldest boy at Tulane. I watch them practice, so I'll stay busy.
Man, that's a life. Now, we got to ask, Coach, I know every year on your birthday you'd bench like 225 to make sure you still had it. What are you pumping right now?
Yeah, I still got it, but the age is getting to me.
Hey,
I still think I'm Superman, but my body says I'm not.
Coach, we read that you're ready to get back to work, but hearing you describe that life, I mean, why would you want to do that?
100%.
LSU was great to me, as you guys know. And then I took the time out to get my boys settled in this coaching business. And, man, they got their feet on the ground. They're off, ready to go. And I watch football all the time. I'm around football all the time. I said, you know what? Let me go give it one more shot.
So what do you want to do, Coach? You just want to get back into it, NFL, college? What are you thinking?
I want to win.
That's
nothing
good.
like it.
It is nothing like it.
When you get back and you've been out a while, you got to see the lay of the land, man. You got to see what's best for you, what's out there. Obviously being a head coach in college would be my goal, but not necessarily. Be a defensive line coach, assistant head coach in college. I'm not ruling out the NFL, but I really like college. I spent a lot of my years there, and I think that's where I'm headed.
Coach, you and I are about the same age. A lot of guys our age that are in coaching are getting out because of the new, all the new things that are going on. You want to get back in. Tell us.
That's me.
Well, I understand. And I admire that, frankly. But I just wonder, with all the things that are different now, going back into it, you've had a year or two and some time now to kind of, assess, as you say. What are your thoughts going back into it about how you'd make all this work in the modern era?
Well, the first thing is, and I told my sons this, whether you like it or not, is here to stay. So you have to navigate through the waters. Those guys that figure out what's the best thing with NIL and the transfer portal and how to manage your roster and get the most out of your roster to win football games and to have success. So look, hell, I'll go in there. I made a joke the other day. I said, well, now you can pay the players. You can walk through the front door, not the back door.
Yeah, exactly. By the way, this video went viral of you at a wedding. I know you've seen it, and I love seeing Coach O having a good time. But I think you forgot to unbutton your cufflinks, and it looked like the shirt was stuck. And I just want to hear what happened.
You're exactly right. I was going to take it off. Colin D'Angelo got married. And he was my in-house recruiting coordinator at LSU, and he's at Tulane now, and so is my son. And I told him, I said, man, I'm going to dance at your wedding. And then I got a little fired up, so took my shirt off and had some fun.
How much fun did you have coaching LSU?
I loved it. I had a blast every day. I went to work every day. I said, you know what? This is what everywhere I've been, I loved it. You guys know that. I loved Arkansas. I said, I'm going to love my job now. Well, there's some ups and downs. Yeah, but you know what? You got to go in there with the attitude, I wasn't going to have a bad day, especially winning the championship. But you know what? The work going into it and the plan coming together. Being with Jimmy Johnson, being at Arkansas, being at USC with Coach Carroll, seeing all the great things that they did, and then get a chance to implement it at a place like at LSU where you should and you can win the national championship.
What do you remember about your time here? You mentioned Coach Johnson. What else do you remember about your years in Fayetteville?
Man, I love Fayetteville. I really did. I remember the first time seeing white gravy. I'm like, what the world is this, man? We only got brown gravy. I know Miss Keppel and Coach Keppel. I lived in the dormitory, and man, I'd go talk with them every Saturday. They were great people, and I just loved the people. And man, when they called them hogs, I played at Northwestern State University, so I'd never been in a big stadium like that. And George Williford was my mentor. Dean Weber, Dean passed. Dean hired me there. Coach Hatfield, Fred Goldsmith, Wally Ake, the whole gang, man. We had a blast. We had some good football teams. And then I remember Coach Goldsmith, when I got on the field, I was assistant strength coach. And check this out, I make $25 every 2 weeks. I couldn't wait to get my check. but when I got on the field, Coach Goldsmith, who I loved dearly, had me block Wayne Martin. I fear release. I was the offensive tackle. Reach, hi-hat, and I learned that flex bone. I learned his defense. Tony Cherico is the nose tackle. Wayne Martin. Think about all the great players that we had.
Yeah.
James Shebest. And then how about this? One day, I got to tell you this story. One day, I had the discipline group, okay? So on Thursday morning, maybe your guy might miss class or whatever. He's on a list. So I had to discipline. So I put him on the hip sled because, you didn't want to hurt him or anything. So, man, I had this guy one day on the hip sled, and I am just, man, he got beads of sweat coming out on him. And the guy that was assistant before me goes, man, you really don't care, do you? I said, what do you mean? He said, well, you know who you working the dog out up there? I said, yeah, Steven Jones. He plays outside linebacker. He goes, you know who that is? I said, back then I didn't know. He said, Jerry. I said, Jerry who? Jerry Jones. I said, okay, love to meet him. and to this day, Steven calls me Hip Sled Ed. we're good friends.
That's too good.
That's funny.
We were just talking about Jerry with the new show that came out, America's Team. I don't know if you saw any of that. It just started on Netflix.
I watched 2 episodes last night. I loved it. I loved it.
Isn't that a wild story about the last 800,000 in the oil well, and he made $100 million on it, and he bought the Cowboys?
How about that? That's good stuff to know. You know what I mean?
Oh man,
really good stuff to know.
Yeah, I just think now when I look, I'll never look at Stephen Jones the same. I'll be thinking about you.
That's funny. That's a good story.
Coach,
beads of sweat coming up. But you know what?
Off of Stephen Jones.
Respected me. He respected me because I didn't show many favors.
Hey, let me ask you this: as an athlete and as a mischievous guy as you are, who's gotten punished more or delivered more, you or the other people?
Oh, there's no question me. Oh man, come on. Hey, I ran so many during stadiums. Are you kidding me? But you know what? I told them they couldn't get me. You ain't gonna get me. They tried, but they didn't.
Do you miss recruiting, Coach? You're so good at recruiting. You've built a reputation on that over the years.
Yeah, I love recruiting. Man, I love the identification of the players. I love meeting the parents. I love seeing the young men come, and you tell them, hey, here's the plan, and then it comes through. One of my most gratified moments was we were in the green room, and Miss Talia, Jamar Chase's mother, who did not want him to come to LSU at first, and Mickey Joseph and the staff, and we all did a good job, and his daddy Jimmy, and she come up to me, we're in the green room, she said, Coach, I got to tell you something. She goes, I want to thank you. Everything you told me you'd do for my son, you did, and I appreciate that. When they say stuff like that, and you see him in the NFL, you see him doing great, you see Joe. How about Justin Jefferson? He was ranked like the 2,500 player in the country. But to see stories like that, it makes it all worthwhile.
Coach, what do you see when you look at the SEC now? What's the lay of the land look like in your judgment?
Yeah, well, I got to say, not having Coach Saban there is different, and he's great, and he was great for the league, and Alabama was the team to beat. Now, I'm not saying they are, they're not, but it doesn't look like. I think that there's some other teams that are coming in, and I think that not everybody's jockeying for that position. Who's going to be the beast of the SEC? And right now, I think the door is wide open.
It is an interesting landscape right now. The Big Ten's won the last couple of national championships. Do you think that ends this year?
Well, you don't know. I don't know. They've done a good job. I mean, you got to give it to Ohio State. Coming back from getting beat at Michigan like that and taking all that stuff and going through adversity. You got to give it to Notre Dame, man. Notre Dame lost to a team they shouldn't have lost, and Marcus turned it around. So, there's a lot of opportunities, especially with the transfer portal. It looks like a new team every week. You know what I mean? I got to check the rosters.
Yeah, the transfer portal's real. Coach, I got to ask you this. Because of your history with Arkansas, coaching at Ole Miss, coaching at USC, coaching at LSU, winning a national championship, you're very familiar with Arkansas and the Razorbacks. When you think of Arkansas football and you think about it in today's world, like open-ended question, what comes to mind and how do you see it? What do you think?
Great place. And look, I would imagine, I'm not sure, but with the NIL and with Walmart and with all the guys that are there in Fayetteville, I'm sure that I'm assuming that they have the funds, the NIL, to go ahead and compete at the highest level. Now, that's just me assuming that. There sure is a lot of money in Fayetteville, as you guys know.
Yeah. Well, I think the NIL difference now will be interesting without having a clearinghouse and having the rev share and all that. It'll be interesting to see how. If do you think that we're with those new rules in place, do you think that will level things out, or will people just get around that? We'll be back to whoever's got the most money.
Well, it should, you know what I mean? But ain't no telling, you know what I mean? But I do believe that with the transfer portal and that, you can flip your roster around in a year. I mean, it's crazy. Before you had to develop players, you had to redshirt, which I'm all for and all that stuff. But right now, if you need a quarterback, you can go get the quarterback if you have, the proper funds and can compete with other people in the SEC or the Big Ten.
Coach, when I hear you talk, when I hear you, the tone of your voice, you miss the locker room. You miss the locker room, it sounds like. Is that what you miss most?
Yeah. Saturday morning, now I'm on South Beach, okay? So you want to be outside, you want to be working out, you want to have fun, do all that stuff. But Saturday morning at 10 o'clock, all right, maybe 8, 9, it all depends. I am watching that TV, and I don't stop till about 12:30, 1 o'clock. So I miss game day. I miss the pageantry. I love the competition. And, really just being around the coaches. When you're coaching, it's your best friends. And, I coached for 37 years, so that part I miss, yep.
Coach, we'll get you out of here with this. Can you describe Muscle Beach for us?
Well, there's a lot of talent out here. There's a couple 5-stars.
Hey, you can still hang, though, can't you, Coach?
That's what we thought.
I can still hang, and one of my favorite activities is evaluating talent. So right now, I am evaluating talent.
Well, Coach, enjoy Miami's practice. Good luck with whatever's next, and it's always fun to catch up with you.
Thank you, Coach.
Hey, guys, great to be on the show, man.
Hey, thanks for making time for us.